Speaker, in 2014, a man in my constituency was ambushed, violently beaten with a pickaxe handle, and left lying in the street with serious injuries. At the time of the conviction, the judge called it a brutal attack. Mr. Speaker, many constituents have contacted me to express their concern that the perpetrator of this attack is still a sitting Labour councillor in Keighley and was recently pictured celebrating an election with convicted crack cocaine and heroin dealers.
Immigration and integration are once again dominating political debate across parts of the United States and Europe. In some communities, residents say rapid demographic change is creating tensions that local institutions are struggling to manage, while others argue that the conversation is being driven more by political narratives than by reality. Videos circulating online show confrontations in neighborhoods, public demonstrations outside government buildings, and growing controversy around local elections. Supporters of immigration say these moments are being exaggerated to fuel fear, while critics insist they highlight serious problems that governments can no longer ignore. So what is really happening inside these communities? And why are these stories suddenly capturing national attention?
I'm here in Plano, Texas. This is the East Plano Islamic Center. This is actually the original Epic City. We talk about Epic City in Josephine, Texas. This is the original one where you've got a community basically built around the mosque. You've got businesses that are built around it as well. It's basically a separatist community within our communities. And what's crazy, you talk about Islam in America, totally incompatible with our Western values. But the insanity of this is that the left is who has allied themselves. Radical communist leftists have allied themselves with jihadists. And at a building like this, where men have to be on one side, they enter from one side. Women have to enter from a side door. They can't even go in the main entrance with the men. You've got leftists allying themselves with them. Sharia law is not compatible with Western ideology, and they know it. The sad reality is there are enough useful idiots on the left that will continue to give cover for Islamists, both in America and the Western world and Europe, that they've invited in this Trojan horse that will ultimately end up destroying our countries. We've got to wake up to this.
Stories like this are appearing more frequently in local media and online discussions. Residents in some neighborhoods say they feel tensions rising as communities change and new populations arrive. Others say those experiences can be misunderstood or amplified by social media. What's clear is that personal experiences often become the starting point for larger political debates about immigration and integration. Events like this can generate very different reactions depending on perspective. For participants, it may be a public expression of faith or community identity. For critics, it can raise questions about how cultural practices fit within local public spaces. Situations like this often spark debate about how societies balance religious freedom with community expectations.
I am a Republican. I know that I have been seeing a lot of people with hesitation about the party that I choose to represent, just because, growing up, you pretty much do what your family does, what, their beliefs are as far as your party. But like I said, I am matured in my own revelation of what the Republican Party represents, and it looks like me. And just the ideology of the Democratic Party, I just have gotten away from some of those narratives, and I feel that the Republicans have a better viewpoint in which the direction that the United States and North Carolina, especially Durham, should be in.
Political controversies tied to immigration or identity often intensify these debates. When allegations emerge about candidates or election conduct, they quickly become national talking points. Election officials typically stress that investigations and verification processes are essential to maintaining public trust, while critics argue that transparency is equally important. Immigration policy itself is a complex issue. Governments must balance humanitarian concerns, labor needs, border security, and social integration. Supporters of current policies often highlight economic contributions and cultural diversity, while critics point to concerns about infrastructure, social cohesion, and the speed of demographic change. These competing viewpoints are shaping political debates across many Western democracies.
We want immigration. We want our country to grow.
So, with the right legislation, I have plans to put programs in for those who desire to come and to be a native of the United States and a citizen of North Carolina, and especially in Durham, District 22. But also give judgment that is not prejudiced, biased, but is a true reflection of what is to be done, and not a social injustice or a shameful disgrace of speechlessness.
For many viewers, this conversation goes beyond politics. Immigration policy influences housing markets, school systems, local economies, and community relations. How governments manage integration and public expectations can affect everyday life in neighborhoods, workplaces, and public institutions. That's why these debates often become so emotionally charged. Officials and analysts often stress that immigration debates require careful balance. Policies must protect democratic institutions, respect individual rights, and maintain social stability. The challenge is finding solutions that address legitimate concerns without fueling division.
You know, the hard truth is we know how radical, violent Islamist ideology is spread. It's spread in mosques, in other religious organizations. It's spread in schools and universities and colleges. It's spread by Muslim outreach programs that pretend that they're doing outreach, but in fact are spreading radical ideology. It's spread by groups of friends and meetings. It's spread with contacts that people have overseas. And it's spread by relatives who are extremists themselves. And it's spread on the internet. We know how this is done. The problem is that we are unwilling, because of political correctness, to monitor the places that we need to monitor. We need to monitor those places. We need to infiltrate those places. We have to quit pretending that Islam is a religion of peace as it is practiced by the Islamists, because it's not.
Debates about immigration, community integration, and political representation are unlikely to disappear anytime soon, because they touch on some of the most sensitive questions societies face: how cultures interact, how democratic institutions maintain trust, and how communities adapt to rapid change. For some people, the stories and clips circulating online are warning signs that governments need to address social tensions more directly. For others, they represent isolated incidents being amplified into larger political narratives. The challenge, as many analysts point out, is finding a way to discuss these issues honestly without allowing fear, misinformation, or polarization to dominate the conversation. Immigration policy, election integrity, and community relations are complex issues that affect everyday life in ways that go far beyond politics, shaping neighborhoods, schools, workplaces, and public trust. The real question moving forward may not be whether these debates continue, but how societies choose to handle them, through confrontation, cooperation, or careful reform. So what do you think? How should communities balance immigration, democratic integrity, and social cohesion while keeping public debate constructive?